This is going to just be a quick recap on all your majors, all your minors, all your sus notes, all your sevenths, diminished and dominant, and then I'm going to do a quick modal recap just to show you where all the modes move and how to be aware of them when you're moving through the patterns. Be aware that in the 1, 4, and 5 being major, the 7th always being the diminished and a major, and then the 2, 3, and the 6 being minor, that the derivatives that happen out of that major, that G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, can be seen all over as being the same increments of movements between all the different intervals. However, when you get to those different intervals, as you know, they're called a different name, but it doesn't matter what the names are. You're still going to figure that sort of feeling out through tone. What happens is when you're trying to experiment and play the right notes and the wrong notes and use modes and scales, the things that we see to be common sense, like this is a G major, right? And this is a G major, but if I take a G major and flatten my third, I get a G minor. Those are the obvious ones. Flatten the median, get the minor. But if you flatten the median, get the minor, and also add the 7th, you have a different tone over the top, or the 7th or the 2nd. You, basically, you can have two different notes over the top with the sus, and then you can move your chord, or you can hear it move, and then you could add other chords to it to modulate. So what happens is you kind of look to where your lending tone is in the majors. In the key of C, that lending tone is B diminished. In the key of G, that lending tone is F sharp diminished. So that F sharp diminished has this kind of like, I mean, let's say we're playing in the key of D. We'd have D major, and then we go to E minor. We go to F sharp minor, right? And then we go to D, F sharp, D, E, F, G major. Then we have A major, B minor. Then our C sharp diminished for our resolution. It's going to have all the keys that we lead in for that triad. So if you just look at the D major triad, we'd have D, F sharp, and A. The reason being, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's two sharps, F and C, so D, E, F sharp, G, A. Get rid of our 2nd and 4th, we're left with D, F sharp, and A. If we move that same thing from D up to our next chord, which is going to be a minor, E minor, on a piano, if we moved up, we would normally see that linear approach to saying that our next set of triads would not incorporate a G sharp. It would have a E, G, and a B, thusly giving us an E minor. When we play the 2nd fret with our 2nd finger and play the other 3 corresponding notes, those are the B, the E, and the G. Thusly, that is a E minor triad, opposed to the E major triad, right? So just knowing that you were in a D major to an E minor, it makes it like this feeling of if everything was D major, E major, F major, G, it would be a little boring. Therefore, we use the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 6th as being minor tones to move us from one feeling to another. Those feelings, those emotions are incorporated and encapsulated in something we call modal structures. I know you know this, but let's do a quick review. If I was in the key of D major and I was playing a D major sus4, I would have a D, E, F sharp, G over the top of my D, which means you play your triad. Here's my D, here's my A, here's my F sharp. It's 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. And then I add my G, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's suspended over the top. If I'm going to choose to do some sort of melody, as you know, everything that comes in between the 1 beat is a superfluous note, or it's an accent, or it's a moving tone. It's unnecessary, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You could have la 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 la, or you could have la 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 la. As long as the la la are the same, everything in between does not matter. What happens is you gotta hit those wrong notes unless you're a prodigy to hit. reason why it's in a melody is because that is a half step. What did I say before? The half steps in every scale, every mode are the meat and potatoes of melodies. So what we learn is basically do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, which is a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. If you write that down on a sheet of paper and you concentrate on omitting one and adding, like teeter-totter, just like my finger exercises, what you begin to notice is all of your 7 major modes are derived out of that G major scale by omitting the tonic and then adding another tonic at the end, or adding another secondary tone. We've got a G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. If you go through this whole motion, what you find is these new scales are the increments of your modal structures. So let's say we wanted to hear Locrian. And Locrian's the 7th. In the key of D, we would have a C sharp, right? Or no, D, A, B, C, D, yeah, C sharp. So for our D, we would have our C sharp being our tone that's going to be moving into it. I know that when I have a D right here, I've got my my D right here. D, E, F, G, A, B, C sharp, D. That C sharp, if I started my tone off of there and I had my do, 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 do. If I started, that's Locrian. That would be wrong. So Locrian would absolutely have that last tone, like it wants to resolve to like it resolves, but it would only be fidgeting in there. And the reason why it's out of context is because most people don't play the accompaniment to explain it. So here's the accompaniment for Locrian if I'm in the key of D. Notice I'm going from a C sharp to a D. Notice how I've got that D, but every time I go down to here, I have the ability to do a da 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 da. Those would be considered a Locrian modal movement because they're not just. It's a half step scale of 7 tones underneath that starts on the step 7th tone. So if I was playing that same, the other mode that I would want to use for half step movements would be Phrygian, because that's the one that has a E to F. So that E to F, if I was playing in D, would be D, E, F sharp, G. So F sharp to G would be in D to C. D, E, F sharp, so that F sharp can be exhibited with here. So what I was using the major modal movement up here, and then I switched to the Locrian and then went back to the Phrygian to incorporate that kind of half-step movement between us. So easier to explain would be like a Lydian. In D major, we'd have the raised fourth. You get the raised fourth by seeing G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C. If you start on C and continue that, steps repeating and then adding those next whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step gives you Lydia. So a quick refresher on that. That goes through all those different modals. So if I were to start on the 6th scale degree in a G, G, A, B, C, D, E, right? But I start here or here, I would have E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. Up through the modal millimeters. So what we're going to be doing is adding finger style to those notes to make melodies. So what we can do is start by doing like a C or a G, keeping that thumb going, holding that note up top. Those tones. Great way to do it is record yourself playing for a minute. And then go back over the top in it. And then make up melodies, and then hear how those chords hear how they move around your chords with having a G major, a G major sus4, a G major flat 5. You can move all the way through these and see how your different movements and your different movement of chords, like your sus4 could be here too, or sus2 could be there. So I'd say go through all of your chords, see your majors and minors, feel out where your 7ths are, just to know where your dominant 7ths are and your diminished are, and then feel out how to play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in every key, using the right fingers to go up and down through there, and then playing along with yourself in those keys. And so like in the key of like D to C to F to G, D to C, F to G, you can have a so set a melody. And then if you can see that, you can modulate that.
Yeah, have you tried these?
Just joking. But if you play out a couple different things over the top of each other, you're going to be able to see how the melodies that you create are going to have wrong notes. Hear those wrong notes and auto-correct them. If they do a wrong note, do it twice. See if you can make it work. Just through my example today of... Once you land on one note for your melody note, look at where your fingers are. Probably have resolved back to the same, because it would tend that you're only going to do 3 chords and have a resolution. If you so choose, try and throw in those, what in D would have a C sharp diminished, so maybe like a... And no matter what you're in, always try and throw a Piccadilly third in there. Just joking. It was good seeing you today. I will see you next week, yeah? Aloha. Give me a buzz if you have any questions about this.